Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about a drug that's absolutely exploded over the world, and I think there's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of possibly dangerous drugs that you should look out for, and I think. The nice thing that we do, and we've actually brought some of the studies with today, is that we stick with the science. So we're not being paid by anyone. We're going to stick with the science, and we want to let people know what GLP-1 agonists are about. So, and I think maybe we should just say, I mean, they were developed for type 2 diabetes, but we're pretty much going to talk about them as a weight loss help in that sense.
Absolutely, and I think most people see it as a weight loss drug rather than a treatment for a diabetic person. But yes, we're going to talk about that, and that's on the radar today. But I think first we should talk about what is weight loss. What do we see as weight loss? So weight is a number on the scale, but that number represent a lot of things. It's muscle, bone, fat, water, everything together. So if you say you want to lose weight, what do you actually mean? I mean, we could amputate your leg and you could lose 20 kgs overnight, but that's not what you want. So weight loss is probably more, you want to look better. And when we say you want to look better, we probably refer to body composition.
Yeah. And I think that's what we have to get out there is body composition, weight loss. We're actually meaning fat loss. So and as we at Innersight, we actually think about the counterpart of that is that if you lose fat, you do not want to lose muscle, because muscle at the end of the day is actually one of the predictors. Your amount of muscle that you keep is one of the predictors of how long you will live.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the key things for a successful weight loss program is to lose as little as possible muscle and as much as possible fat. So it's so important to keep that lean muscle at all costs.
And that's where these drugs are quite interesting, is because they do in the studies seem to preserve muscle mass more than they shed the fat, so which is great. So
yeah, so I mean fat tissue. Why are we concerned about fat tissue? I mean, fat tissue is we as humans, we store fat, excess calories in the form of fat for times when we need it. These days we don't actually need it that often because we've got a supermarket around the corner, on every corner these days. But usually the fat that we store subcutaneously is not a problem. We're talking about visceral fat that we store around organs, because that's the fat that's metabolic active, the fat that causes inflammation, because it secrete or inflammatory substances, and that's what causes disease. So there's a couple of diseases that's increase with your visceral fat increase, and hence the health benefits of losing fat.
Yeah, and there's also quite a lot of toxins, your hormones that's stored in fat. So the more you lose of this visceral fat, the less you will be storing of these dangerous compounds. So, and obviously the one thing that's quite big on the radar is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is a big part of why liver struggle is these days, is because people are too fat, visceral fat. So just for our listeners, what that means is inside fat. So that fat not the fat that sits on the outside, it's actually the inside around your organs fat. Yeah.
And hence also that it's not always just a number on the scale, because you get this skinny fat person, which is also dangerous, because what's even more dangerous, because you can't store the fat in the subcutaneous tissue, and everything goes to around the organs. So in essence, when we talk about weight loss, we're referring to fat loss. And if we refer to fat loss, especially fat around the viscera, the visceral fat, the fat around all the organs, that's what we want to lose when we talk about weight loss. And we want to maintain lean body mass as much as possible.